Welcome to Swarup classes. Today's our agenda is GST New Return Formats and Applicability. Source taxplorer.com. Class by CS Swarup. This is Sai Swarup, Chartered Accountant. New return formats. Already we have GST 3B and 1 for filing regular GST returns. Now why they have brought new return forms? Because there is so much complexity and there is no two-year reconciliation, there is no input reconciliation, so there are a lot of difficulties. The regular suppliers and the regular inward suppliers, everyone is facing problem. So that's the reason why government has introduced GST new return formats. From when it is applicable, we'll see one by one detailed. GST new returns applicable from 1st April 2019 as per 31st council meeting updates done on 22nd December 2018. We know already last week newly appointed Revenue Secretary Mr. Ajay Bhushan Pandey stated that GST new return forms will be rolled out from 1st April 2019. 1st April 2000, that means after 31st March 2018. However, in earlier a few days back, the new simplified GST returns filing model was expected to be implemented by Jan 2019. We know already in June 2018, the draft GST new return forms like monthly return forms and quarterly return forms in the name of Sahaj, Sugam and quarterly returns set up in public domain and sought public comments. And now in 31st GST council meeting, the government seems to have postponed the return applicability to 2019, 1st April 2019. So the taxpayers will have to continue with the current system of GST returns, that is filing of GST 3B and filing of GST 1 on a monthly and quarterly basis. Okay, GST 1 on a monthly or quarterly means for persons for whom monthly is applicable, they have to file GST 1 on monthly basis, and for whom GST R1 is applicable on quarterly basis, they have to file on quarterly basis, and GST 3B they have to file on monthly basis. Now we'll see one by one what is new GST return forms, how formats are there, what type of forms are there, how they have to file, whether monthly we have to file or quarterly we have to file. We'll see one by one detailed. What is new GST return forms? A summary. There are basically two types of GST returns are there from 1st April 2019 as per the recommendations made by 31st GST council meeting updates. Okay, first one is monthly GST return forms and second one is quarterly GST return forms. What it means? First we'll see what is monthly returns and forms. The registered business with a turnover exceeding 5 crores in previous financial year should file their monthly return along with payment of tax. That means what they are telling basically is, if your business turnover is exceeding 5 crores in previous financial year, that means financial years 18-19, then you have to file your monthly returns. That means you have to file your GST in a monthly basis. On a monthly basis, you have to file your GST returns. The businesses are required to upload B2B invoices, and it will get auto-populated in outward supplies annex and in your monthly return. So you have to file all your outward supplies invoice by invoice. That means GST invoice you have to file as regular how you are filing for GST 1, how you are filing in GST 1. You have to file your all outward supplies, that means B2B supplies through your monthly return forms. Now we'll see about input tax credit. ITC will be available on invoices uploaded by your supplier and can be claimed as credit with an option to claim and report the missing invoices which are not uploaded by supplier. That means all the inward supplies which are uploaded by the supplier, that means your supplier will upload his invoices and it will be an input credit for you, that you can claim as such, and if there are any modifications you can do modifications and you can log those invoices. Apart from that, some of the suppliers wouldn't have been filed their quarterly returns or their monthly returns, so the input credit you would lost. So there is an option to report those missing invoices which are not uploaded by the supplier, and then you can claim separately those input credit which are not reflected in your return. Okay, now what are the due dates for filing these monthly returns? As usual, how we are filing for GST 3B, the monthly return along with payment needs to be filed by 20th of subsequent month, and there are no different forms for filing monthly returns as available for quarterly returns. That I will tell you later. Now we'll see what is quarterly returns and forms. Now we finished with monthly returns. We'll see what is quarterly returns and forms. Basically, quarterly returns means that already we saw for monthly returns the business turnover should exceed 5 crores. That means for the persons whose turnover less than 5 crores can file their returns on a quarterly basis. This is so much relief for small business and medium enterprises. The government is giving this much relief because so much burden in filing GST returns and so much accountancy work is there, so much staff work we need involved, so much staff involved. So to overcome all these problems, the government has initiated this quarterly returns and forms. So we'll see line by line. The registered business with a turnover up to 5 crores in previous financial year are allowed to file quarterly returns. However, the payment needs to be made on monthly basis. This is the important point. Need to be remembered. The business with the turnover less than 5 crores can file their quarterly returns, but however, payment needs to be made on monthly basis. The input credit will be available only to the extent of invoices uploaded by the supplier. This is a major backdrop in quarter returns. We need to be remembered. What government is saying, what GST Council is saying is that GST input credit, that means GST input credit, that means all the inward supplies, input GST and all the inward supplies can be claimed only if it is reflected in the portal. That means your supplier should upload their quarterly returns and monthly returns, and then only you can get those input credit in your portal. Only those input credit you can claim. You cannot add any missing invoices to claim those missing input credit. Okay, understand? That means note, the GST quarterly returns will not have the concept of claiming ITC and missing invoices which are not uploaded by the supplier. Hope you try to understand. Next, forms. Quarterly returns consist of 3 parts. Actually, government has released in quarterly returns 3 types of forms they released based upon the complexity of the business. Suppose take an example. First return GSTR 1 Sahaj form, and the second return GSTR 2 Sahaj Sugam form, and GSTR 3 suppose serial number 3 GSTR quarterly form. What is GSTR Sugam form and what is GSTR Sahaj form and what is quarterly form? We'll see one by one detail. What is GSTR Sahaj form? The businesses who often purchase only from domestic market, that means within India, and their 100% outward supplies are made to end consumers and unregistered business known as B2C supplies can opt for GST return from Sahaj. The details of outward supplies are required to be captured at summary level with a breakup of tax rate and place of supply. The details of ITC from inward supplies are annexed, which gets auto-populated based on invoices uploaded by the supplier. What basically they are telling is GST Sahaj form is the basic form. That means your sales is only to end consumers and those are B2C cases, only on B2C cases. That means only for the end consumers and unregistered businesses known as B2C suppliers. And one more thing, we can take ITC on inward supplies which gets auto-populated on the invoices uploaded by the supplier. That means I already said you whatever the missing invoices, you cannot add those missing invoices that gone already, that is lost for you, that is a revenue leakage for you. You suppose if you want to claim that, you can file monthly returns, you can claim that instead of quarterly returns. But if based upon the complexity of business, based upon the burden you feel, you can go for quarterly returns. So that is a voluntary basis only government has it. There is no mandatory that if your turnover is less than 5 crores, you have to opt for quarterly returns. Next, what is the second form? GST Sugam form. We already saw what is GST Sahaj form, and GST Sugam form is just in addition to Sahaj form. That means not only B2C supplies, B2B supplies also you have to mention in Sugam form. Suppose if you have both B2B supplies and B2C supplies, in such case you have to use GST Sugam form and you have to upload your B2B supplies. That means all the sales you made to be registered business you have to mention in one by one invoice wise in GST Sugam form. And regarding input credit, the same as such I explained in Sahaj also, you can claim only the invoices uploaded in the portal. That means you cannot add any missing invoices. If you want to add any missing invoices, you have to file monthly returns and then you can claim those missing invoices by uploading those missing invoice details, and input credit you can claim as such. Okay, now we will see one by one detail. The form GST Sagam can be opted by the business who supply both B2B as well as B2C. This implies that businesses who make outward supplies to registered business as well as end consumers or unregistered business cannot for Sugam. The details of B2B supplies needs to be captured at invoice level in outward supplies annexed. As I already said, B2B supplies you have to capture at invoice level in outward supplies. Then it automatically will get populated in GST Sugam. The details of B2B supplies should be reported at summary level, because there is no requirement we need to show like invoice wise of the B2C supplies. It's like no need actually. That's why they're saying you to upload as a summary level basis. Similar to Sahaj, the details ITC will be auto-populated from inward supplies annexer based on the invoices uploaded by the supplier. Next, we'll see what is form GSTR quarterly return. So I already said there are totally 3 types of forms in quarterly returns. One is Sahaj, one is Sugam, and one is quarterly return. The name itself is quarterly return. Don't confuse here. What about this form? This form is similar to Sugam that I explained about the second form. The only difference is you have to add if any exports to Sage or if any exports outside country, then you have to use this GSTR quarterly form. And almost this form is similar to monthly return form. That means you have to add all the B2B invoices separately and all the exports and Sage exports you have to show separately. And apart from that, all the input credit you can claim here, and missing invoices as such I explained you cannot claim. And for that, if you want to claim, you can modify monthly return. We'll see line by line. This is similar to Sugam, and the only difference is that if you are engaged in making exports including Sage, you need to choose GST quarterly return form. The format of quarterly return form will be similar to monthly return form applicable to large taxpayers. The details of B2B supplies along with exports needs to be captured at invoice level in outward supplies annexed, from which the details will be auto-populated to form GSTR quarterly return. The details B2C supplies should be reported at summary level. Understand? Similar to Sugam, the details of ITC will be auto-populated from inward supplies annexed based on the invoices uploaded by the supplier. This is about GST returns formats that they are going to release from 1st April 2019. They will maybe they will release on a pilot basis or will applicable for whole over India at a time. We have to see based upon their recommendations. Thanks for watching video. If you like the video, please subscribe and for more interesting videos in the future. Thank you.